I'm Steve Ember in Washington. Egyptian voters have approved the country's Islamist-backed constitution. The approval came after an election with low voter turnout and protests from opposition groups. Egypt's Election Commission said almost 64% of voters backed the new constitution in this month's two-part referendum. 36% voted against it. The commission put voter turnout at about 32%. The announcement late Tuesday opens the way for elections for the lower house of Parliament within 2 months. The process to write a new constitution led to days of protests by liberal and non-religious opposition groups. They said their interests were not represented while the Constitution was being created. Iran has repelled a new cyber attack on computers at an industrial center in the southern part of the country. Ali Akbar Akhavan, an Iranian civil defense official, said a virus had penetrated some manufacturing industries in Hormozgan Province. He said Iranian computer experts stopped the attack. In 2010, a powerful computer virus called Stuxnet Worm interfered with the country's Bushare nuclear power center as well as other factories. Iran has blamed the United States and Israel for cyber attacks in the past. It says the attacks are part of an effort to destabilize the country's nuclear program. The West suspects Iran is trying to develop nuclear weapons, a charge Iran denies. The dispute between Iraq and the country's Kurdish north is affecting Iraqi oil exports. Government officials say Iraqi Kurds have suspended all oil shipments. The Associated Press is reporting that an advisor to the Kurdish Ministry of Natural Resources confirmed the stoppage. The advisor noted a payment dispute with the central government. Iraqi Kurdish officials say the government has only paid part of $1.5 billion promised under an earlier agreement. An Iraqi spokesman says the payments have been suspended because the Kurdish area failed to provide enough oil. Israeli officials have approved a plan to build more than 1,200 new homes in a Jerusalem neighborhood. The Jerusalem Building Committee of Israel's Interior Ministry gave final approval to the plan on Monday. Israeli officials have approved proposals to build about 5,300 new apartments in the city since last week. All the apartments would be built on land outside the country's 1967 borders. Except for the United States, all members of the United Nations Security Council have condemned Israel's settlement expansion plans and called for them to end. You are listening to the news in VOA Special English. China says it is being watchful after Japan sent fighter jets over the East China Sea. Japanese media report Japan ordered flights near China after discovering a Chinese observer plane in airspace near disputed islands in the East China Sea. A Chinese Foreign Ministry spokeswoman told reporters Tuesday China will pay close attention to Japan's decision. Hua Chunying said the observer plane was on a normal operation. Japanese defense officials say the plane was about 100 kilometers north of the unpopulated islands at the time. Kazakhstan says its temporary border security chief is dead after the plane he was traveling in crashed near the Uzbekistan border. A statement from Kazakhstan's security agency said the Russian-made plane disappeared from radar as it prepared to land in the southern city of Shymkent. It said Colonel Torganbek Stambekov died along with 19 other members of the Border Security Service, as well as 7 crew members. Mr. Stambekov had been appointed to lead the border agency in June after 14 border guards were killed at a security station near the China border. Kazakh officials say an investigation into the cause of the crash has begun, but that weather conditions at the time of the crash were not good. Pakistan has beaten India in the opening game of their first cricket series in 5 years. The Pakistanis won by 5 wickets Tuesday at Chinnaswamy Stadium in Bangalore. Security was heavy for the game, with thousands of paramilitary soldiers and police outside the stadium. People entering the stadium were searched and had to pass through metal detection equipment. The cricket match is considered another step toward improving relations between the nuclear-armed nations. Gunmen in northeastern Nigeria killed at least 6 people early Tuesday when they opened fire at a church during a Christmas Eve service. Officials say the attack took place shortly after midnight in a village outside the city of Potiskum in Yobe State. There was no immediate claim of responsibility. Yobe is next to Borno State, which is the headquarters of the militant Islamic group Boko Haram. Rights groups say the militants have killed more than 1,000 people in the past 4 years. The group is fighting to force an extreme form of Islamic law in northern Nigeria, where Muslims are the majority. And Christmas has come and gone around the world. Along with gift-giving and celebrations, this year was marked by prayers for peace and the mourning of victims of gun violence. At the Vatican, Pope Benedict prayed Tuesday that peace would spring up for the people of Syria. He also called for peace in Mali, where Al-Qaeda-linked militants occupy part of the country. He also talked about Nigeria, where he said terrorism by Islamists has killed hundreds.